So Victoria, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today. I'm really excited to hear a bit more about your journey. I guess let's start at the beginning. How did you discover the importance of resilience, both in life and in your work?
I suppose for most of my early adult life, I didn't really think of myself as particularly resilient, but I do remember friends saying that I never seemed fazed by whatever challenges life threw at me. However, I think this was a result of my upbringing. My parents always said, why not just give it a go? What's the worst that can happen? So when I saw an advert saying women wanted to walk to the North Pole, no experience needed, I thought, yeah, why not? I jumped at the opportunity. And the aim of the expedition was to become the first women in the world to walk to the North Pole. But the key requirement for team members wasn't physical fitness or polar experience. Instead, it was the mental mindset. Because in the Arctic, success and survival is 90% mental and 10% physical. Because you're in an incredibly hostile environment where there's no easy rescue, no get out of jail card. And when things get tough, you've got no choice but to keep on going. The Arctic ice is constantly moving. There are no maps. You can't plan ahead. Giant pressure ridges or open areas of water appear just like that with no warning. And at one point, the ice opened up under our feet, and two of us were left swimming in the Arctic Ocean, fighting for our lives. So, in order to survive, you have to be able to adapt, cope with the unexpected, and pick yourself up over and over again.
That sounds like an incredible and also slightly terrifying adventure. And so I guess I wonder, how did those lived experiences, falling into that freezing water, how did that then translate into sort of thinking about resilience in a working environment?
Um, I guess I hadn't fully appreciated the lessons that I learned until I actually became a senior leader and was running an edtech business. So during my time there, the business was sold twice. We went through two restructures and the challenges of COVID. And the most recent sale and restructure was an exceptionally difficult time for everyone because it was at the height of the pandemic. So there was obviously an significant increase in workload, emotions were running high, and I had to dig really deep to support the team and deliver what was needed for the business. And there were times, if I'm being really honest, when I was completely overwhelmed. However, without necessarily realizing at the time, thanks to my lived experiences, especially those in the Arctic, I was able to call on tried and tested resilience techniques to help me and the team keep going.
Oh, and so why is resilience so important for people in a business environment specifically?
Well, quite simply, the more resilient your employees are, the more motivated they are, the better they're able to respond to change, the more they innovate, and the better they perform. So resilience protects your business against tough challenges. And actually, the workplace isn't any different to the Arctic. I mean, the environment's a bit less extreme, but you can draw up a wonderful 5-year plan. You can create a budget for the next year. You can launch a campaign, but chances are that at some point, your project will encounter a blocker. Which is the business equivalent of the ice opening up, or that pressure ridge appearing just like that in front of you,
or a global pandemic, for example.
yes, exactly. COVID was obviously completely unexpected, derailed almost every business. However, those that have survived and in some cases have thrived have generally been those where the people and therefore the business were resilient. They were able to cope in extremely challenging circumstances. Teams were able to make rapid decisions. They didn't panic when things went wrong, and they were able to pick themselves up and just try again and again and again.
And I guess what you're saying is that all businesses can help their employees to build resilience and these resources that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. The good news is that every single person already has a wealth of lived experiences that once they recognize and understand them, they can be called upon to develop individual and team resilience. So the real benefit of that resilient workshop is that staff will embrace change rather than just going through the motions or even reacting badly to change in some situations.
So, if someone attended one of our resilience workshops at Hoxby, what would they come away with?
So our workshops build on an individual's lived experiences rather than sitting in a classroom passively listening to the theory. Participants reflect on their lives, they actively build their own resilience toolbox, which often leads to a light bulb moment when they realise how resilient they actually are. I mean, that's the best bit, when they suddenly go, ooh. We also spend time discussing how to approach a current or an upcoming challenge. And the resilience plan that they build is all about using their own resilience toolbox and taking one step at a time rather than trying to climb Everest or reach the North Pole in a day.
And so, why are these workshops so important right now?
Oh, quite simply, change is everywhere. We need to give employees the tools to be best able to handle that change. And change could be really big. It could be a company restructure or a change of business strategy, or it could be seemingly tiny and insignificant. For example, people coming back into the office post-pandemic and discovering they no longer have their own desk. But those continual changes, the disruptions to our lives, the reluctance to make long-term plans just in case we catch COVID, they all erode our psychological safety and wear down our resilience. So as life starts to return to a semblance of normality, this is really the crucial moment to support your employees. Resilient people means a resilient business, which means a sustainable and successful future for that business.
Gosh, it just sounds critical right now. I think, especially as we're navigating this new world, and I think one of the things that's hanging over people as well is even as this pandemic draws to its end, at some point there is going to be the next big change and big transition that we have to go through. And I guess having really, really, really resilient employees is what will set you up for success in that next period. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Victoria, and for such valuable insights into building resilience.
Pleasure.
And if anyone would like to book the workshop, just get in touch.
Definitely come along.